All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, June 16th. We've got a 7-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video, like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If you do want to fade me, if that does interest you, absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of yesterday, we do go 5-4 from a plays perspective, win-loss, right? But unfortunately, a couple of our bigger plays, Mets money line and Royals money line, they don't come through for us. We lost multiple units on those last series with the Royals and the Mets, so that was absolutely brutal. Our winners did include Marlins Nats first 5 under, Phillies first 5 run line, that was a nice one, Cardinals team total under, White Sox Rangers first 5 under, and then the Angels and Orioles under. So a lot of unders that we cashed yesterday. Hopefully we can pull some momentum from those wins and pull them into today and forget about some of those bad losses that we've been taking. We literally took the Royals 3 times in a row against the A's. Each and every game they lost. So that was really unfortunate. But you know what? Let's bring up the vibes here because the ride of the day, let's pump in some crowd noise there for Ernesto. He said, hi, everyone. First time leaving a comment for ride of the day. Ellie, over 1.5 bases. Absolutely cashes it. You can see the updated tracker right here. In fact, we do have to color code this. Boom. Ernesto is in with a +141 hit from yesterday. That's what we got it at. I believe that was over on Novig. So how about that for a debut ride of the day comment from Ernesto? If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, you're like, what the heck are you talking about? All you have to do is use that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD down in the comments. Give me your favorite play. I jump aboard with one person's pick each and every day and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we do get to celebrate you. Your tracker gets updated with a green mark, right? And we continue to roll with you as you go on this ride of the day streak. So looking forward to what Ernesto throws at us today. If you do lose, and in the unfortunate circumstance that someone does lose, you do get the shout out just like this, but you're facing the womp womp like we did, a second ago there. So you still get the shout out, but you got to face the music. But yeah, good luck to Ernesto, guys. Get those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. Let's jump into today's slate. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking here. We're starting off with Miami taking on Philadelphia. The odds have been a little wonky in this one. I've seen Miami at -105. This graphic's, maybe 40 minutes old, so now they're at +105 again. Mick Abel's on the mound for Philadelphia going up against Sandy Alcantara. Now, obviously, one of those names is a big name, Alcantara. He really hasn't had the best of seasons, though, but he's been a little bit better at home than he has on the road. In fact, when I say a lot better at home. So I get why Miami's in this one, but I do think that this Philadelphia offense is kind of cooking right now. 7, 8, 3, but then 11 runs in their last 4 games. And when they don't have bad windy weather situations, I think they usually have a good spot to score here. Now, still no Harper, I get that, but to me, this is just too cheap of a price to pass up on Philadelphia. So I think we're going to take a peek at them. It does seem square. Does smell a little bit like a trap, but I don't know if we can pass it up. Mick Abel has looked okay. The only game he hasn't looked great in his MLB career so far was against the Cubs, one of the better offenses in the league. I don't think that I'd put Miami in that category. And Miami just swept Washington. I know Philadelphia just swept Toronto, but if one of those teams were to continue their win streak, I think I'm taking Philadelphia instead of Miami, who I would deem almost due for a loss. In terms of what we have from a total, I would consider a Philadelphia team total over before I jump to anything. Again, it's just ultimately because I don't necessarily trust the Miami offense. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sit here and say that they can't get to Mick Abel or Mick Abel is a heaven-sent pitcher. I get that he's a young prospect and good, but to me, he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. They don't necessarily hit the fastball all that well. They're decent against righties. He is a righty, so there are some, pros and cons here, but I'm just going to trust the team that I think is a little bit more consistent, Philadelphia. Give me their team total over as well. Next up, we have Washington taking on Colorado. I've seen Carson Palmquist and Kyle Freeland listed as the starter, so we'll see who ends up pitching for them. If it's Carson Palmquist, I'm less likely to like some of the plays that we do like, but if it's Kyle Freeland, I do kind of think he has He's one of the better pitchers in Colorado, which is saying not much, but it's the truth. If that's the case, I think I turn to player props here. You could look at Ahmed Rosario, Kelbert Ruiz, CJ Abrams, James Wood, even Robert Hassel, right? All their unders and hits, runs, and RBIs. I do like the splits and the against lefties and the pitch mix. Not so much if it's Carson Palmquist, so let's just keep that in mind. In terms of a side here, I would say this is way too much of a 50-50 type spot to be giving, Washington minus 200 odds anywhere. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily worth it on them. So I guess by default, we lean towards the Rockies, but I don't mind the idea of, a potential look at like a Rockies team total over. I know that is crazy, but you're going to get a really low number. And I do think that, Jake Irvin could kind of struggle. I think if you can get a 2.5, which at 9, you probably are looking at 3.5. So maybe this is all, hoopla, doesn't even matter. But I don't really trust Jake Irvin in this spot. He's going to throw, the fastball, curveball. Colorado, not the best offense, but if they can go out there and score 3 runs, yeah, that'd be great. Maybe they did build some momentum in that win against the Braves, right? I know. We'll sound the psycho alert alarm because circling anything around Colorado, you're like, yeah, that's just risky, right? But again, I just kind of do base it off of the fact that if their line's super low, then that's one value spot, right? And then the fact that you're getting plus 200 odds, or plus 180, whatever it is, against a team like Washington that isn't all that tremendous, sure. But I will throw in the fact that Colorado is definitely worse than Washington, so I do understand that. This is probably one that we're talking a lot about that we might not even get to. So, yeah, I'd go Colorado, their team total over, and then maybe some of those unders on the Washington side of things if it's Freeland, but I don't think it is. I feel like I've seen more sites with Carson Palmquist listed. All right, real quick, guys, before we do move on to the last 5 games of today's slate, we also have the NBA Finals, and we're looking at a free square over on Sleeper Picks. Now, there is a link for Sleeper down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. It is one of, if not my favorite, DFS player prop app out there, because you know what? I'll just show you. They have so many promos going on. Let me open it up. There we go. We have a 30% boost right there. You see it, right? Swipe over one. Oh, a Miles Turner discounted square on top of this one, right? Oh, swipe one more. Sandy Alcantara discounted square. Oh, would you look at that? Another one. Aaron Judge. The list keeps going on. They even have a TJ McConnell one. They have so many discounted lines and promos on their app right now during the NBA Finals. Now is the time to check them out. You get this free square as a new customer. You also get your first deposit matched up to $100. You can go big, deposit $100. You'll have $200 in that account to play with. Check it out, guys. You also get, I don't even know what I'd list 4 different promos that are going on their app right now. Check it out. That link will be down in the description as well as the pinned comment. What I really do deem Sleeper's sort of unique factor, other than the fact they do more promos than anybody, the fact that each and every play changes the payout within your entry. And so you don't have the normal 2 for 2 is 3x or anything like that. Sleeper, no matter what you put in there, it'll change each and every time based on the lines and the multipliers of the player. So really, really cool, guys. Go check it out. That link, again, will be in the description as well as the pinned comment. If it's available in your state and you have not jumped on Sleeper, quit sleeping. Wake up a little bit. Boom. That was a good one, right? Check it out. That link will be down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Let's jump back into these games. Yankees taking on the Angels here. You almost have to imagine the Yankees, I guess, are like primed to bounce back, right? After getting swept by the Red Sox and Devers hits a home run and then they trade him. So yeah, as a Red Sox fan, my mind was going crazy yesterday. But between that, Devers getting traded middle of the U.S. Open, I was like, I don't think that my sports brain can handle this right now. But nonetheless, Yankees scored 1, 3, and then 0 runs in that Red Sox series. They scored 1 run in their last game against the Royals before that series as well. So this Yankees team, maybe a little bit of an offensive drought here. I would say this is a Yankees spot, a Yankees bounce back spot. Now, I don't think that they're worth the minus 185 to minus 200 price tag, but I do think they could potentially score some runs back at home. So maybe a slight lean to the team total over here. I know in terms of Jose Soriano, he's probably not going to allow those home runs over the short porch or anything because he likes to keep the ball on the ground. He's one of the best at it. But I don't necessarily look at Clark Schmidt on the other side and be like, oh my God, he's going to absolutely deal. And we do know the Angels at least have in their back pocket there that they're a decent run-scoring team on the road. So maybe we could even just consider a full game over, right? Angels get swept. Maybe their offense kind of kicks it into gear here against Baltimore. I'd probably trust the Yankees more so than involving both. But if you only had access to the full game over, maybe that's something worth looking at. I think you can get plus money for over 8.5 right now. I would also consider a potential look at the Yankees on the first 5 run line. Like I said, they're coming off of getting swept by the Red Sox. They're back home. you'd have to imagine that this team comes out and says, you know what, let's freaking win a game, right? And they'll start early. So I'm going to lean towards that. That actually has a chance to be in a final play because, again, you're the better team already, right? But then situationally, it kind of fits as well when they need to kind of get things back on track. So maybe minus the half run in the first 5 could be a decent look here as well. All right, next one up, we have Tampa Bay taking on Baltimore. Tampa Bay is coming off of definitely a good series there against the Mets. Don't we know that the hard way, right? But they win 7-5, 8-4, 9-0. Baltimore, you could argue coming off a very good series against the Angels. 2-0, 6-5, and 11-2. I want to take a shot here and fade recent results. So you have two offenses that are clearly pointed in the right direction, which is saying a lot because this Baltimore team was struggling for a long time. And honestly, Tampa Bay had been fairly inconsistent. But I do think that, and I believe we have some weather, right? Like rainy and windy conditions, but I think it's going to be really hot in Tampa Bay, so maybe that offsets. But Zach Eflin and Ryan Pepe Le Pew Pepio on the mound, I kind of want to take the chance at a first 5 under and or a first 3 under. Both these teams coming off of such highs. Let's be real, they're not exactly the best of offenses, right? Baltimore's definitely been hot in the last 30 days. Tampa Bay's been super inconsistent. You do have Zach Eflin, who is a good pitcher, and he's not really going to allow guys on base and walk, right? And then Ryan Pepio, at home here, I don't necessarily mind his spot, but I don't think Baltimore's offense is fully clicked. So again, it's kind of a fade of recent results and the contrarian look at it. I like the first 5 under 5. I also don't mind the first 3 under 2.5. Kind of get in and out of this first 3 innings quickly. In terms of a side, I probably would still look at, I want to say the Rays are the better offense right now. But the plus money next to the Orioles, when I think you can call the starting pitching advantage either on their side or a wash at the very worst, the only thing I'd worry about, I guess, would be probably the bullpen, right? Tampa Bay's bullpen, a little bit taxed, but the Baltimore bullpen has used a bunch of arms recently, so I guess I'd still lean Tampa Bay, but that plus money next to Baltimore really is tempting. I'm clearly a little bit on the fence here, so I'm going to lean towards that first 5 under as well as that first 3 under. Probably like that more than a side here, ultimately. In terms of a player prop, I believe we had a couple that at least are listed here. Oh, 2 of them. All right, so Colton Cowser, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Ryan Pepio's really good against left-handed bats, Cowser being a lefty. The problem is the pitch mix. His first 2 pitches, fastball, changeup, he should hit fairly well. So that's kind of kept us on ice on this one, I guess, for a little bit. The next one would be Josh Lowe, or Lau. I always get them confused. He, against right-handed pitchers, Eflin being a righty, 198 average so far this season. The cutter he doesn't hit well, the sinker he hits okay, but then the changeup he does not hit all that well, nor does he hit the curve well. So, yeah, kind of like a fade of him here, and what I like about it is you're getting plus 118 odds. That's a reason that I'd consider it. So, yeah, a potential look at multiple things in this game, and they all kind of trend in the same direction as in under. So, yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. And honestly, we might look at, maybe we'll split up our units kind of in a way that we can get all of that. First 5 under, first 3 under, and potential Josh Lau, because I like that a little bit more than the Cowser one. His under hits, runs, and RBIs, because we're getting plus money. Real quick, guys, if you have not checked out our merch yet, go ahead and head over to fademe.store or guybostonsports.com/store. I'm wearing the Gambler rope snapback hat right here. Really good quality stuff, guys. It's stitched, it's embroidered, it's got the rope, all of that jazz. Check it out. Again, fademe.store or guybostonsports.com/store. It'll take you to the same place. Go pick up some stuff. We've also moved some new products to the sales section, so you can get them at a discount. No code or anything needed. They're just marked it down. So check it out, guys. It helps support us, and you get some great merch in hand and on body at the same time. Again, guybostonsports.com/store. Go ahead and check it out. Fademe.store as well. All right, well, we just kind of spoke about the Red Sox a little while ago, right? Trading Devers, and I don't even know what my head's thinking now, but they take on Seattle here, and it looks like we're going to get Logan Gilbert on the mound here, so good for him. He's coming back. I believe he last pitched. When was his last pitching start? It was May. I don't know. I think he pitched with 3 starts this year, something like that. 3 starts recently, I should say. I want to say April might have been his last start, right? Nonetheless, obviously a really good pitcher. I don't know if we're going to have him on a pitch count or anything like that. I think he did throw like 5 innings, 75 pitches in a rehab assignment in AAA, so maybe he obviously, has some length in him. I do think that he's got the starting pitching advantage here over Lucas Giolito. So I'm going to probably lean towards the Mariners in this spot, but minus that price tag, and it's moved down a little bit to minus 180-ish, that price tag with a pitcher coming off of the IL, don't necessarily know about it right now. I do think that he can pitch well, and the Red Sox bats, after that trade, maybe they're kind of not focused, right? I could see it. So maybe there's a potential look at like a first 5 under, but aren't we giving Gilbert, who is fantastic, a lot of credit here, right? That total is down to 7. The Mariners are massively favored. It's almost like, yeah, maybe we just don't touch this one. You don't need to poke the bear just because you're trusting that this guy is going to be what he was. So yeah, it's probably going to be a pass for me, but I would go maybe some. Honestly, I think it's going to be a low, close scoring game, but I don't want to feed into the trap. So I would say Mariners has the advantage here, but the first 5 under is something that I kind of was looking at, and then I didn't really want to get there if, Logan Gilbert kind of was stinking it up. I will say, actually, we already talked about the first 3 under with the last game. We can probably assume Gilbert's going to throw 3 innings, right? So maybe there's a little bit of a pivot there that we can get to a first 3 under. That's definitely something that I would actually consider now that I think about it. And that's a good way of, he'll probably be sharp for a couple innings, but we don't know if he's going to go full 5 innings, that type of thing. So maybe you see a first 3 under on our card today, but I can't get to the Mariners even though I want to. I love Logan Gilbert. He's really good, better than Giolito. Can't get to him with this price tag. And the situation with the Red Sox tells me that they might not be focused on baseball right now, which you could say that's right or wrong. Obviously, that's like a debatable topic. So maybe that first 3 under could just be the thing that we lean towards here. Hopefully, Giolito holds his own too. We haven't really talked much about him. All right, Athletics taking on Houston. Lance McCullers Jr. going up against Mitch Spence and or JP Sears, or not but we've seen both those names out there. So still waiting on a pitcher here. I want to say JP Sears is the more like frequent name that we've seen. So I guess we can kind of break it down with that in mind. And honestly, it's probably, I guess, in a sense, a little bit better off for the Athletics, at least in my opinion. I think throwing the lefty against lefties, even though there's not many lefties in this Houston lineup now that I think about it, but he's going to throw a lot of sliders. That's not necessarily the best pitch for Astros. So yeah, that probably keeps it somewhat closer, but you have Lance McCullers, who's been really good on the road this year. 1.02 whip, a 2.93 FIP, average against of 176 on the road. So yeah, I think this is probably a Houston spot. The problem is the price tag for a team that I don't know if we could deem, really all that consistent. In fact, even their last series, like they won those games, but not in a consistent way. They scored 10 runs in game 1 and then 3 and 2 and somehow squeaked out a sweep. You know what I mean? Like this team, though their record's looking better, though they've won, I think it's 8 of their last 10, they're still kind of doing it in peculiar ways, I'll say. I do like the idea of Lance McCullers, I guess, against JP Sears. But what I was saying is that this offense is very consistent. I think this could be somewhat of a closer game than you might think. So I don't know about the price tag at minus 156 for a team that could even just drop this game as the first in a series and still be on a really good trajectory, right? They'd have won 8 of their last 11 even with this. So I lean Houston, but I do think, and just kind of forewarning you guys, I guess, that there is enough there that I'm a little worried about. And that totals up at 10. So you have to assume that the A's probably are, predicted to hit fairly well also. So maybe the way that we pivot is just a Houston team total over. If we think there's going to be some runs, even though I do think Sears is okay with the slider, if we think there's going to be some runs, maybe we do that. We don't have to back Lance McCullers. Depends on what the line you can get, though. So give me Houston and they're over. I want to say we had one player prop in this one. Let me double check before we do move on. Caratini. We're going back to the well with him. Caratini against, if it is Mitch Spence, I like it. If it is... JP Sears, I don't, because the righty-lefty splits are pretty important here. But he doesn't really hit, righties all that well, Mitch Spence being a righty. So if it is JP Sears, like I said, I kind of assume it is now. We have this player prop noted and pulled up from when we thought it was Mitch Spence. So probably don't necessarily love that one anymore now that I think about it. But again, it depends on who is pitching. We don't have a confirmed starter yet. Speaking of not having a confirmed starter, there's rumors out there, and right now I see Ben Kasparias as the primary pitcher, but there is plenty of rumors floating around, and not even rumors, just like news articles saying that Shohei may be making his pitching debut tonight. But again, if Ben Kasparias is listed as the primary, would they open with Shohei? I don't really see how that necessarily works in a sense, or why they would do that, but if that's the case, that's pretty exciting. Do I want to go in there and just absolutely back him, in his first start? Probably not. It's been a while since he's pitched, but I think we all do forget how good he is. This is a rivalry game, obviously, San Diego versus LA. LA's at home. The one thing that I'll say is Dylan Cease is on the mound, and Dylan Cease looked really good last time he pitched against the Dodgers. That was in their last series. It was an 11-1 win for San Diego. He went 7 innings, 0 earned, 11 strikeouts. He did walk a bunch of guys. I think his walks line, not line, I think he walked like 4 or 5 guys. 5 guys, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, and what is his walk line now? Because that's what I'm almost starting to think about, is that even if he pitches well and all that, 2.5. Oh, 2.5 for some serious plus money, the plus 110 could be something to consider, right? I would still look at the Dodgers team total over, even though Cease is very good. I do like Cease. I have a feeling that this is a spot in which the Dodgers kind of just continue some offensive success. You look at their recent games, 5-11. Okay, they had 2. Then they had 5, 1, 8, 7. It's like they're either all or nothing. And I do think that seeing a guy recently like Cease just allows them to probably be out there and go and put up a good number. So I'm going to lean Dodgers team total over 4.5 right now. In terms of them head-to-head against the Padres, they've done this in 57% of games dating back to, I believe, last March. When at home, not all that much, but against righties here, they've done it a decent amount of time. So, yeah, it's probably going to be the spot that I lean towards, but I'm really interested in seeing what we have out of, on the Shohei side. Like, is he going to pitch? Be very interesting if he does, but I don't think that Cease does the same thing against the Dodgers as he already did once. Like, it's probably due for somewhat of a regression spot. You know what I mean? And then no player props as of right now in this one. Guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Obviously, shorter slate, shorter video. Hopefully, you guys do enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.